Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the differences between your first pregnancy and your second pregnancy. Now I am currently 39 weeks pregnant, probably will be full term 40 weeks by the time this video is posted, but I thought why not do a fun video just because I'm here bored at home and have nothing else to do, basically between the differences between your first pregnancy and your second pregnancy. So if you're pregnant with your second or your first and you're just kind of looking and wondering the differences between the two, then continue watching. Alright, so let's just get into this video. The first thing that we're going to talk about is appearance. So with this baby, I'll just put it out there, I am pregnant with a girl this time. The first time was a boy, so it's been 4 years since my first, obviously. And so this time, having a girl, things are a little bit different. So physically, and I guess appearance-wise, we'll get talking about that. So first off, we have to say that the beginning of this second pregnancy, I had a ton of nausea. So I had nausea up to 4, 5, even 6 months pregnant. I was constantly eating crackers. I couldn't get out of bed without eating a couple before I even moved out of the bed, and I would have nausea all day. Like, it wasn't just in the morning, it would be during the day, in the car, at night. It just really kicks my butt. With my first, I didn't have any nausea. I was nauseous. I mean, that's the way I found out I was pregnant with my first, was because I got nauseous. And so I only was nauseous for like 2 weeks and then it went away. So that is one thing that I can say. I'm not sure if it's because of the gender or whatnot, but with the girl, she kicked my butt. The way that the bump is. So with my first, I don't really remember exactly how it was. I just remember being like wide with my first, and they say, I guess, if you have a boy you carry a lot lower, but I noticed in this pregnancy I'm carrying a lot lower. And I don't know if it's just because I've had a baby before or whatnot, but I feel like this pregnancy I'm all belly, and just all belly straight out and pretty low. With my first, I could say I was like very round, and I'm also not sure if it's because I gained too much weight with my first pregnancy, but the bump. And I have to say, with the second pregnancy, my bump showed a lot faster. Now, I was a lot healthier this pregnancy, so I can say that compared to my first pregnancy, I gained over 80 pounds. So that, you know, comes into play because of what I was eating. I craved like salty food, meat, and just like junk food with my first, which was the boy. And with this one, I feel like I just crave more sweet stuff. And I mean, I really do. Like, I always have to have like cookies or fruit, and I feel like I eat fruit like all day. And so I just feel like with the girl, the second pregnancy, I crave a lot of sugar and just sweet stuff. And with the boy, the first one was just a lot of salty foods. And so the bump, coming back to the bump, I don't know if that's why my bump showed a lot fast, or my bump was a lot rounder because I gained so much weight with my first, with my son, and then with this one just all belly because I'm a little bit healthier. So another thing that we're going to go on is hormones. So with the first pregnancy, I don't really remember having too many hormonal issues. I do remember kind of just getting mad easier, but I mean, don't all pregnant women, but I don't really remember like having too many issues. With this pregnancy, the second pregnancy, the way that I actually found out I was pregnant was because my hormones were all whacked out. I remember just like waking up one morning and I was super mad at my husband for no reason. I didn't even have a reason. I was mad at him, and then I got really sad, and then I got happy again, and it was just like a cycle of being happy, sad, and mad within like 5 minutes. And I was just like, I feel really crazy right now, and I don't feel myself. Like, something just feels off. I don't know why this is happening. Something is not right. Which then I was like, maybe I'm pregnant, because, you know, I was crying out of nowhere. It was a really weird morning, and then it ended up I was pregnant. With this pregnancy, the second time around, being a girl, I feel like I just get really emotional, and I can literally cry about anything. And I try not to just show my emotions, like do that, because I know it can irritate people, but it's just like, it's so hard. Like, I can literally watch a Disney Channel, like a Disney movie, and like you know, it'll be like a cat and a dog and they become friends, and then I just start crying and bawling my eyes out, and it's really embarrassing. But basically, second pregnancy, being a girl, my emotions have been a lot higher. So I can just say second pregnancy, I'm more emotional. So as far as like being sad and crying easily at things, we'll say that. The first one, which was the boy, was just a lot of, I guess, just being angry. Normal pregnant women anger. So another thing that I can say that's different between the first and second pregnancy would have to be, I guess, about like the worries and things like that. So when you're first pregnant, I remember, you know, the doctor tells you all these things that you can't eat, you can't drink coffee, you can't do this, that, this, you have to lay on this side. And I feel like with the first pregnancy, I was a lot more cautious. I was like, you know, I can't drink coffee, I can't have a sip of wine, I can't do anything because I'm pregnant. And I guess treated pregnancy like I was sick. Like I was the one that was like, I cannot work out because I'm pregnant, because my doctor was like, you can't get your heart rate over like 140 beats per minute or something like that. Like that, I was just a lot more cautious. So I even tried going to the gym when I was like 3 months pregnant, but because I was like on the elliptical and I could like feel my heart beating fast, I stopped working out because I was scared that like my baby might die, because they told me that if your internal core gets too hot or your heart rate gets too high, that you can have a miscarriage. And maybe that's true, but I mean, I don't think it's true. And this second time around, I think I was a lot more lenient. So yeah, I do watch what I eat, and I did learn with that because I had shrimp and it was bad, and I actually got food poisoning when I was like 2 months pregnant. But as far as like coffee and teas and wine, you know, I've been a little bit more lenient. You know, I drink coffee, I drink tea, some caffeine, you know, I keep it under the 200 milligrams, but I'm not like, I can't have anything. And as far as working out, I feel like, I mean, I'm a fitness instructor and a dance teacher, and I taught and worked out and taught dance and danced hip hop up until 8 months pregnant, 35 weeks pregnant. So, I mean, I had no issues, and I think actually exercising and working out did great for me because I did not get as many pains and aches as I did with the first time around. And the first time being pregnant, I got a lot of back pain, a lot of joint pain, a lot of constipation, and I think it's because of my level of activity, and because I was just like the first time around, I was just like, I'm pregnant, I have to sit here and I can't do anything. And this time around, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm pregnant, there's a, you know, I'm growing a human, but doesn't mean I'm sick. I can continue to do the same things that I love to do, just, you know, to just be more careful. So another thing that I want to talk about is the career-wise and working. The first time I was pregnant, I actually was a medical assistant. So it was a lot of office work, and I was sitting a lot of the time, so I got swollen. You know, maybe that's why I gained so much weight. And on top of, like I just told you, being that type of pregnant woman that was like, I'm pregnant and can't do anything. You know, I think it really took a toll on me because I was not very healthy and actually ended up getting preeclampsia. With the second time, you know, and with the first, I have to say, I worked up until about a month before my due date, and this time I could only make it to 35 weeks because this job, the second time, was a lot more physical, obviously a fitness instructor, but I didn't let it stop me. You know, I still lifted weights, I still danced, I still jumped, I still did things I still did things that, you know, I felt that I could do comfortably. So I just feel like with the second time around, I just listened to my body more and just did what I felt that I could do. I just listened to my body more and did things that I thought that I could do. I mean, like if I didn't feel good doing it, I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't not gonna do something just because somebody told me not to, because there's tons of research and your doctor can tell you one thing, and yeah, they have medical experience and all that jazz, but I'm just saying, you know, like, don't go running while you're pregnant. Like, why not? It's, for some people, running is, you know, kind of like their escape, and you get healthy endorphins and you feel good after a run. But, and for me, I was doing sprint intervals at like 5-6 months pregnant, and I felt fine. So, I mean, I think you just have to really listen to your body, and this second time around, I just listened to my body more and did what I felt that did what I thought I felt comfortable doing, as rather than just listening to what people told me to do. And which kind of brings me into this, which means with my first pregnancy, I was, I think, a lot more scared, I can say, to go into labor and delivery and just with things, because, you know, you don't know anything about pregnancy and like how it feels, what it's gonna feel like, what's going on with your body. And so I kind of just like let everything happen to me, and that kind of went into my labor and delivery as well, which was like trusting the doctors and just did whatever they told me to do, which kind of backfired in a way, because I ended up in a C-section and I didn't really know that I had the option to, you know, do epidurals, and I just didn't know how much control I had over my pregnancy and my labor and delivery. So the first time I didn't do as much research, which is weird because I feel like your first time you're like so excited and you do, but the first time I just kind of went with the flow and did what I thought our bodies would naturally do. So, you know, I didn't really get like the aches and pains that you get. I mean, so the first time I got a lot of aches and pains. I mean, like my back hurt, my hips hurt, and it was just mainly because I didn't do the research on ways to relieve those pains. I can put it that way. While the second time around, you know, I did a lot of research, you know, how to make sure that, you know, you don't get back and hip pain, which is, you know, use the bounce ball, just sit on it and roll your hips. Like I didn't do that the first time. Sleeping, I didn't know like that you should actually sleep on your left side rather than your back or your right side. And so this time around, I, you know, try to sleep on my left side. And when I can't, I sleep on my right side, but not my back. Also, as far as just different ways to relieve discomfort, and like I said, a lot of it had to do with being active, just because, you know, keeping those joints moving really helped a lot. And I also feel like with the second time around, I feel a lot more contractions and Braxton Hicks than the first time, and I heard that that's normal. I heard with the first time it takes your body a while to kind of like get your uterus to work, you know. Your uterus doesn't really know what's going on, so it takes a lot longer for it to actually, you know, go into labor and work. While as your second pregnancy, your body already kind of knows what it's to do, and so that's why sometimes you feel more Braxton Hicks, because, you know, your uterus is warming up, and usually the first time you don't really feel it, or maybe you do but you just don't recognize what it is. So with the second pregnancy at 35 weeks, I get Braxton Hicks almost like every day, and now that I'm like 39 weeks, they get pretty painful. I think the last thing that I'm going to talk about basically is just money wise, or spending money. The first time, you know, I saved like $1,000, and I had a pretty big baby shower, and I spent, you know, all that money buying everything at one time, like the high chair, the little like sit up, the thing where they like the babies can sit up. I pretty much bought a lot of things and new. While with the second baby, I'm just like, okay, like, you know, she's not gonna need that for 3 or 4 months. We can check later on like OfferUp or at a secondhand store, you know, for certain things that aren't like, you don't necessarily need to buy brand new, like baby monitors. Like, does it really matter if it's $100 brand new when you can maybe get like a $20, $40 used but in great condition baby monitor? Like, save some money. So with the first time, I just thought everything had to be new, while as the second time, I'm kind of just like, okay, we'll buy it when we need it. And we do buy like the new things that we need, of course, like, you know, bassinets and things like that, you know, you want to make sure that your baby is in something clean. But I just think with the first time, you know, you think like everything has to be brand new. You want like all the, you know, like matching crib and this and that. And this time I'm just kind of like, you know, we only need the essentials, more especially because I have another, you know, I have a 4-year-old and they share a room, so it's kind of like we don't have space for that big crib and like all these matching things when we can just get what works. So yeah, so I think those are some of the things that I experienced this time, it being my second time being pregnant. I don't know if this has a lot to do with it being a girl this time rather than the first time. But I also have to say before I end it is with heartburn. The first time I got a lot of heartburn, which was with my boy, and they say I think heartburn is caused by hair. And my son had a lot of hair, like, and he still does when he was born. And this time I haven't got it like at all. Like, I don't ever remember getting heartburn or constipation. So I mean, it's really weird. Honestly, I just think that your pregnancy obviously if you have a girl or a boy, it can determine kind of the way that you feel and whatnot, just because of the hormones in your body. But I feel like the way that you actually go through your pregnancy has a big effect as well. So if you're like healthy and things like that, I feel like it can help. But I'm gonna cut this video short because I don't want to talk about that. That's a whole nother story. But these are some of the things that I've noticed that I have been experiencing, the difference between my first pregnancy and my second pregnancy. And I also have to say, with labor and delivery, even though the first time, you know, you're more scared, the second time I think I'm just more anxious to see her. I already know what I'm gonna go through, but I just kind of like want her here because I'm like, okay, like I'm tired, you know, it's been 40 weeks. I want to like have my regular body, want to be able to run around and just see her, rather than being scared like, okay, I never want this to happen because I don't know what it's gonna feel like. So I never really actually answered that. But yeah, so that's everything. That's kind of the differences between the first and the second pregnancy. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long for you. And I hope that if you like this, that you'll subscribe to my channel so that you never will miss another video like this. I will be having, you know, a couple more videos after, which will probably be my labor and delivery story, hopefully, maybe a what's in my hospital bag video, and then we'll get back into those fitness videos as soon as I can. I'm super excited. Like, I've been missing working out, and I just scroll through my Instagram feed looking at people working out, and I just miss that feeling. It's not even about like the physical part of what I look like, it's just more of like the feeling that I get. And yeah, it's different, you know, just going walking or swimming or something that while pregnant. I don't know. I'm just really excited to get back to it. So if you're on this channel because you love fitness, don't worry, we will get back to it within probably a month or two. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.